You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, your host here of Truth to Power. We are live from the American Family Insurance Studio here at the Avenue, sure at the 3rd Street Market Hall in the Avenue. Shout out to my boy DJ Brother Z holding it down on the ones and the twos as always. Shout out to you, Truth Nation, for chiming in and tapping in. You can always call and text in at 833-212-1017. You can also watch and stream us live on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Make sure y'all give it a thumbs up, and always make sure y'all subscribe. And shout out to y'all in the chat already. I typed in good afternoon. All right, so I'm not going to sit here and bombard people with trying to give them updates on everything that's happening, but I'm just going to give y'all a little look into my morning. And I told y'all yesterday, don't panic, not to panic. And I said, don't worry. Like, I understand if, we should be concerned, but I was like, all right, let's try not to panic because maybe, just maybe, at some point the economy will shift and change and Trump will pull some of these backs, or people will come to the negotiating table with Donald Trump. And then I woke up this morning and I saw that China hit us with a 34% retaliatory tariff on all U.S. goods. So while a lot of Americans are suffering, Donald Trump is at a Florida golf resort as the economy is tanking. Yes, the economy is tanking in front of our eyes. So even I took a look at some of my stocks that I have, and I said, oof, it's a rough one. But I guess we got to make it through these rough, choppy waters here right now with what Donald Trump has done to our country. So it is what it is, I guess, and we just have to ride it out. But 833-212-1017, that's the Truth Talk to text line. And so today, I saw an article, y'all. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is national headline news yet because I really haven't seen a lot about it. But there's a story I want to play for y'all because I went on Twitter yesterday. By the way, actually, before I get into that, let me tell y'all, some people are crazy. I got told something today was wild, but then on top of that, I went to a store, got buy one, get one, and almost had to cuss the lady, the cashier out. She had me heated yesterday. But as I was, and the reason why I brought that up is because I was sitting in the parking lot before I went into this establishment to go get my burrito, and I was on Twitter X. And I noticed I saw a whole bunch of people, tweeting about, if this were to happen to a black kid, they'll be marching in the streets. Justice for Austin Metcalf. And I'm like, what's going on here? These blacks are killing white people and nobody's saying anything about it. They did all this for George Floyd, and I was so confused. It's like, who is Austin Metcalf and what happened? So, Truth Nation, I want you to tune in. I want you to go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube so you can watch. But I want you to listen to this news story that I have. DJ Brother Z, who is it from? NBC News, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
NBC News has an article talking about Austin Metcalf in a tragedy that happened in Texas where a young teenage boy lost his life to violence. A young white teenage boy lost his life to violence. I had to make sure I specify white when we talk about this because what I saw on social media was worrisome and bothersome. But here is NBC News article and update on a tragic story that happened down in Frisco, Texas.
His brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding, and he died in his brother's arms.
Austin Metcalf's final moments, his dad says, were spent in his twin brother's arms.
And I rushed up there, and I saw him on the gurney, and I could tell.
The 17-year-old died Wednesday, police say, after being stabbed by another student at a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas.
Not conscious, not breathing. He was stabbed.
His twin brother, who was there, told their dad the incident began when the pair asked the student to move to a different seat.
He brought a knife to a track meet, and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart.
Police are not saying what caused the altercation, but have arrested 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, a student athlete from a rival school now charged with murder. Anthony has not yet pled. The North Texas community in shock.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Grieving alongside Austin's family, who are remembering the high school junior as a bright student athlete who was MVP of his football team and had a 4.0 GPA.
He was loved by many. He was a leader. He believed in God. He was a great kid. Made me the proudest father in the world.
Tonight, his family leaning on that faith to forgive.
I already forgive this person. God takes care of things. God's going to take care of me. God's going to take care of my family.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News.
Thanks for watching.
NBC
Stay updated.
News talked about this tragic story, and let me tell you, this is sad. It's a sad tragedy that happened. But again, I have to specify that Austin Metcalf was a white man, or white boy, and the gentleman Karmelo Anthony, Karmelo with a K, was a 17-year-old black child, boy that did this. And it's sad because we just constantly see this violence every single day. And unfortunately, in this world, this country that we live in, far too often we hear about teenage children, specifically boys, losing their lives to senseless violence. So this is a sad, sad situation, a sad, sad tragedy where a brother, a twin, lost his twin brother and had him in his arms. A father lost his son, but a mother lost their son. A school lost a classmate. People lost friends, family. It's sad. And then on the other end, the young man that was the perpetrator, he also loses his future. His family has lost a son. His friends have lost a friend. It is just tragic all around. There's no reason for this senseless violence. But at the end was something key there, Truth Nation. That was the father who was speaking. And at the end, the father said something that so often we hear in the black community after all these massacres, I want to say, and murders that happen of our community is, remember when Dylan Roof went down to a church in South Carolina where he murdered multiple black people, and they said, you know, we gonna forgive him, right? That's what the community said. Now, this gentleman right here said that he forgives Karmelo Anthony for what he did, for stabbing his son. He said, I forgive him, and the Lord's going to take care of it. That is the man's voice who matters. He has forgiven him. But see, this is where this takes a little bit of a shift, because the real story is this. They were at a track meet down in Frisco, Texas. The black gentleman, young man, Karmelo Anthony, was sitting under a tent, and inside of that tent was basically for the other gentleman's school. You know, you go to these track meets, they put up their tent, and kids sitting under it just in case it rains or get some shade for the sun. Karmelo was sitting under that tent. Austin came by and said, hey, you're sitting under our tent. You got to move. Karmelo said no. He said, hey, man, like, hey, this is where this is for our team. You can't be here. You gotta move, man. You have to move up out of here. I'm gonna have to move you up out of here. And he said, touch me if you want to. And then from there, I think the young man grabbed Karmelo's backpack of the sorts, and Karmelo stabbed him in the heart and killed him. And again, this is sad. It's tragic. But the thing that puzzles me is that this tragedy is now being used as a dog whistle for the far right white people to try to play victim. Act as if white America is under attack, right? We saw this same thing used by far-right conservatives when we talk about Laken Riley, who was a girl who lived in America down in Georgia, was on her college campus, and a undocumented immigrant, or as they say, illegal immigrant, murdered her. So the Laken Riley name was the name that you heard throughout the Trump, campaign, because that was the thing they were using to push up and to play on people's emotions, right? To justify the deportations of all immigrants regardless of their visa status. And let me tell y'all, Democrats did the same thing with Jacob Blake. I think they utilized the George Floyd. I think it's a little bit different, but they definitely utilized Jacob Blake, who got shot by a Kenosha police officer here in Wisconsin. They utilized that one for the advantage the Biden administration did in 2020. So let me tell you, I see it on both sides. But to me, what is so despicable and sick in this is when you go on social media. You can go on social media now. Go to Twitter X and type in Austin. What is that boy? I want to say Austin Matthews, but that boy's last name is not Matthews. Type in the young man's name of Austin Metcalf. Type in his name, and you're going to see a lot of hatred, right? There's posts on social media having outcry of saying this. Why is there nobody protesting? Why aren't people outraged? Why don't white lives matter? If he was black, people be in the streets marching for this kid's life, but nobody's saying anything about Austin Metcalf. Again, I want to reiterate that this is a tragedy and that no one should die from asking someone to move from a seat. So I understand is that this young man should not be dead today, and consequences should come to Karmelo Anthony for doing this. And again, different Karmelo Anthony. But it's so angering at the fact that we know if roles were reversed, these same far-right conservatives would not be out here yelling the loudest. We understand that when black people are taken advantage of or things happen to us, y'all want to point the finger. We know if the roles were reversed. See, in this situation, this young man, Karmelo Anthony, is arrested. Karmelo Anthony has no bail, no bond. He's in jail. Too often when this happens to black bodies, we don't get any justice. Arrest. If this was a black man that got stabbed, we know arrest wouldn't have been made immediately. We know the excuses of stand your ground. They had to stand their ground would be, those folks would be talking right now. We would have heard the whole excuse about, if they just, he should have just asked for an adult to take care of the situation. He shouldn't have did that. We know when things happen to us, there's always an excuse of why our death is justified. And so what bothers me is that these people don't understand why we get mad and why we protest. See, that's the problem, is that they take a scenario where a young man was murdered, but the perpetrator was arrested. What do you want to protest? What do you want to get mad about? You got justice. You get something that a lot of us don't actually get. See, again, the story of Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony, y'all, it's a sad one. But what these far-right conservatives don't understand, and they need to understand, is that they are actually getting justice. Because the man who did it is in jail. No one's yelling, that was self-defense by Karmelo. Nobody's having a money for his defense through a GoFundMe page. I don't see any GoFundMe pages for Karmelo. No one is saying he should have just complied with what Karmelo was saying and should have left him alone. No, everybody's talking about how it's tragic that Austin died. Nobody is defending the perpetrator. And so far-right conservatives asking for protests shows you how disconnected black America and white America, and I'll say white America, far-right conservatives are from the actual reality. Because we have children like Tamir Rice, who was a young boy who had a toy gun that was bought from a store, a legal toy gun. So we have stories like Tamir Rice, who gets shot by the police, and we don't get justice. And the police go on, and the officer who did it gets to carry on with his life and get a job somewhere else. Meanwhile, Tamir Rice's family have to rebuild their life without their young adolescent son. But I didn't hear far-right conservatives talking about where's the justice, lock up that officer. And then what they have to understand is that we didn't get justice in that scenario. And then also, we have wannabe cops like George Zimmerman walking around neighborhoods attacking 16-year-olds and killing 16-year-olds. He murdered a 16-year-old who was named Trayvon Martin, who was walking home. And the crazy thing about this is I remember when this happened. I was in college when this happened. And the older I get, the more tragic it becomes. It was a tragedy when it happened. But as I get older and I get closer to having a family and my friends have kids, right? One of my friend's son turns 13 next month. Just 3 years younger than Trayvon Martin. And I could only imagine him walking to the corner store in his neighborhood that he lives in, that his daddy and his mama lived in. And somebody pulling up to him, trying to ask him questions, coming at him aggressively, and how fearful and how scared he would be. But even in that scenario, when a fake wannabe cop tries to assault a teenager, we had to hear about the fact that Trayvon Martin was the aggressor. The hell he was. He was being stalked by a grown man. I didn't hear the far-right conservatives step up for him. You know what they did? They supported George Zimmerman. Stand your ground, they said. And then on top of that, we have a black man, Ahmaud Arbery, who was just simply going on a jog. Like anybody around the city of Milwaukee that may want to go for a jog. And when he was going for the jog, he stopped and he looked at a new house. He walked around the new house to see what was going on with the construction. And after he did that, some white men pulled up as he continued on his jog and attacked him and ended up killing him. And then lied about what happened. But this is the problem. This is where I say, bumps them crocodile alligator tears these far-right conservatives have. This is a sad situation, but these are the same people that weren't outraged of the fact that the actual prosecutors, the district attorney in the Ahmaud Arbery case, had to be on trial for trying to conspire to cover up a murder of a black man. The district attorney conspired to try to cover up the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Now, she was found not guilty, but she actually had to go to trial for it. And so when I look at this situation and I hear these far-right conservatives crying out for justice for Austin Metcalf, Austin got his justice. He should not be dead today, but the person that did it is locked up and there is no bail. You don't have to march in the streets if you actually get the justice instantly. You don't have to go and stop traffic when people get justice. You don't have to protest when people get justice. That is the whole point, y'all, is that at the end of the day, this is why I cannot support conservatives. It's because they don't care about things that happen to us, but then when it happens to them, they want to try to use our death, our tragedy, as something to point at and say, well, y'all did it for them. Yeah, we're protesting because of the fact that we don't actually get justice. When Eric Gardner got murdered by the New York police, we didn't get justice. And so I was just frustrated about when I heard this story, because all it was is another story of far-right conservatives and Jason Whitlock. Now I'll keep my comments to myself about Jason Whitlock. But it's just another story of white people always trying to discredit us. Right? Remember when we said Black Lives Matter? They came up with Blue Lives Matter. There's always just an excuse to why they can hate on black people. And this is why they try to always hold us down. And so it's just so frustrating in these situations where you go on social media and you hear an outcry for justice and you rub your head and you say, what do you mean, justice? What more do you want? Do you want stricter knife laws? Do you want more strict gun laws? Because I know y'all don't want that. What justice are you asking for? He was arrested. We should envy you. We should envy those who actually see their murderer get behind bars, unlike Breonna Taylor, when the police came to her house wrongfully and tried to knock on the door, and the dude in there was her boyfriend was nervous about what was going on, thinking somebody breaking in, and he had a gun, and they shot up the house and killed her, and the officer wasn't on trial for killing her, on trial for shooting recklessly into another person's apartment. So again, this is why when I see far-right conservatives and I think about some of these conservatives and some of their mindsets, I say I can't associate myself with that. Because it's basically associating yourself with pure evil and with people that are living for the downfall of the black community. 833-212-1017. Let me know your thoughts about this conversation. Do we feel like far too often far-right conservatives look for ways to try to pull us down? They look for ways to try to say white people are under attack. They look for ways to discredit us. 833-212-1017. Al, I see you. We'll get to you on the other side. You can also text in at 833-212-1017 as well. I see y'all texts. I'll get to those. I see y'all calls. Get to those. But I don't know about y'all, but are y'all frustrated by this? Are you frustrated by they get justice, and even within their justice, they want to yell and scream that if it was George Floyd, y'all cried about George Floyd. Y'all cried about Breonna Taylor. But why don't we get the same justice? White people are saying that even though George Floyd, we only got the justice because of we had to march and burn stuff down to get it. Watch and stream us on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Also, make sure y'all give us a thumbs up and a like button as well. On the other side, we got Al, we got Winky Blue. I see y'all chat on the YouTube. I see your text. We'll get to that coming up next. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It's Kyle Wallace, host of Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and I want you to tune in every day from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. as I engage in a community conversation I know you want to hear. From topics like our property tax bill price hike, which I know had us all shaking our heads, to the incredible MPS students getting millions of dollars worth of scholarships to pursue their dreams, I have you covered, Milwaukee. So tune in to Truth to Power every day from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Ever had a question about local services, neighborhood events, civic engagement, or ways to get more involved in the community and just didn't know who to ask? That's where 1MKE comes in. 1MKE is a nonpartisan coalition helping Milwaukee residents to find trusted information and easy opportunities to get civically engaged. Want to plug into a neighborhood event, find community services, give back through volunteering? 1MKE is here to help. Learn more and get involved at 1mke.org. That is 1mke.org. We are 1MKE.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. There's lots of buzz surrounding the draft, but you won't find one seeping through Pella's windows and doors. In fact, you should make Pella your #1 pick, because right now you can take advantage of no interest financing options or free glass upgrades as long as you order by April 30th. Make a statement by adding Pella's architectural interest inside and out with maximum design flexibility. Their talented designers and installers can match your unique home through dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more. Along with durable and distinguished details, all Pella products stand the test of time, which is why they confidently offer the best wood warranty in the industry. Don't miss out on no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends April 30th, so place your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
I gotta feed the streets. My pistol gon' bleed the streets. Ski mask on my face. Sometimes you gotta cheat to stay ahead.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm Kyle Walsh, your host of Truth to Power. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. If you have any thoughts or comments on this conversation, definitely chime in as we're having a conversation talking about the tragic death of a young 17-year-old down in Frisco, Texas, where a 17-year-old was stabbed to death by another 17-year-old at a track meet. His name is Austin Metcalf, who was killed, and it's a very, very sad story about what happened. And the thing that we're having a discussion on is when you go on your social media, what you will see is you'll see a lot of people being very hateful, bringing race into this conversation. And what's so interesting about this, and I put it into the YouTube chat. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube as well. What's interesting about this is that people always claim we're the first ones to bring up race, right? We're the ones that bring up race. But in this scenario, race is the thing that people are bringing up. That's the first thing they brought up. And so it's just so interesting to me, again, about how we always get blamed of using a race card, where in reality, a lot of times, whether it's DEI and people getting on planes and saying, oh, I got a black pilot, or in this scenario here, people are talking about, well, if it was a black person, yeah. And so, again, they're trying to make up these things and thinking that white people are being targeted, which is not true. It's just not true. But 833-212-1017. Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
My thoughts is these people know they have a very dark history, from Cecil John Rose to Prince Leopold, to all the hate that they mammy and pappy raised them with. They played the victim when they played the race card. But here's the problem, Kyle. Black people have been nice too long. True equality, which means what you do to me, I have a right to do to you. If you kick me while I'm down, I should have a right to run over you with a truck. If you speak what's in your heart, I should be able to say it and not be condemned to it. Land of the free, home of the brave. But black people always ask to be the bigger person due to the Bible. Racism hide behind the Bible and claim victim. But when black people ask what's in their heart, then they will get the respect. You don't have to forgive. If you kick down my door, I should be able to blow your head off. If you say what's in your heart, I should be able to say it and not be condemned. True equality. But they hide behind the Bible, and they know black people got the Bible and the badges of the God on their shoulders, which allow things to happen.
Al, can I ask you a question?
They play the race card.
They do play the race. Can I ask you a question? In this scenario here, because I know DJ Brother Z and I were talking during the break, and in this scenario, so what happened was, it sounds like the young man who ended up dying grabbed the backpack of the kid Karmelo who stabbed him. Now, if the backpack was on his shoulder or whether the backpack was on the ground, but it looked like he grabbed the backpack and pulled the backpack, which could mean the backpack was on the young man's shoulder. He pulled the backpack after he said, touch me, see what happens. He pulls the backpack, and then he stabbed him after he pulled the backpack, right? And so with that, if that was the scenario, regardless of it, do you think in this case it's still a stabbing in the heart is still justified?
Well, any unwanted touch is an assault, according to law. If he didn't touch that black boy, he wouldn't have been dead. Any unwanted touch is an assault, and black people have been dealing with that all their life. How about that?
Okay.
And it's the law. Any unwanted touch is an assault.
Okay, Al. Well, thank you, Al. Appreciate you. I mean, I can't.
Have a great day.
You as well. I mean, that is true. That is 100% true. But again, from my from my perspective, I'm gonna read y'all chats because I see y'all talking in the chat now. Y'all floating out some theories like DJ Brother Z about maybe he was being bullied. I don't, we'll talk about it. We definitely will. But 833-212-1017. We having a conversation about a tragic death that happened down in Frisco, Texas, at a high school track meet where a 17-year-old white kid was stabbed by a 17-year-old black kid after a dispute over sitting in a seat. Yes, you heard that right. Somebody was killed over a dispute over sitting in a seat. 833-212-1017. Winky Blue, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts about this conversation?
Hello?
What up, Winky?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Brother, I'm listening to you, and I'm just wondering, where's all the anger coming from? You seem to be awful angry.
I'm angry today?
Yeah, boy, you seem to be awful angry. Listen, I understand the whole concept about white folk coming out the woodwork now because they actually want to infringe on the civil rights movement that we put down. They want to infringe on that part now. They want some of that DEI for themselves. Okay, but
they get DEI for themselves though, Winky. They legitimately, the reason why we have to have DEI is because they didn't want to share with anybody else. The old boys, the good old boys network, they didn't want to share with they didn't want to share with their own wives or cousins or sisters. Hell, they wouldn't want to share with their own mama.
Kyle, look here. It's a way that you can listen to this here. When you say the lower caller called in and talked about the Bible, look, there's countries, man, that don't even believe in the Bible, okay? That it's a crime to believe in the Bible, but there's racism there. You go to the Muslim countries, the white Muslim on top, the black Muslim on the bottom. You go to China, the white Chinese is on the top, the black Chinese is on the bottom. Do you understand this is an all-out war on melanin? It's racism, man, but it's not just because of the Bible situation. So when I heard that, you have to go beyond that. Then something else, I got to jump here.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait. Can I ask you a quick question? Can I ask you a quick question?
Go ahead.
And my question for you is this, because I know you support conservatives. When you see far right conservatives,
man, I support anything that's right, brother.
Okay, but wait a minute. When you support Trump, and these conservatives are supporting Trump, like the far right wants to. You know that. And so in a situation like this, when they're talking about white lives matter, where are the protests, where's the outrage? The man was arrested. He's going to be on trial. He doesn't have a bail. We'll see exactly what happens when he's on trial. But they got justice. So when they do stuff like that, does that not annoy you? And then they're silent when
because this is their opportunity. This is their opportunity to put forth their activists in the streets. See,
what do they want? What are they trying to gain from this? Like, what is the gain from this? He was killed and the perpetrator was arrested. In our scenarios, they get killed and then we got to march to get them arrested. So what are they trying to gain? Help me understand.
They might have an agenda of their own, like we have an agenda of our own. In some cases, not all the time, and most of the time, we don't stand up for wrong. If you're wrong, we just write it off. You're wrong, dude. But in some cases, we have looked at situations that have been kind of what they would call sketchy. And in a sketchy situation, we come out. When the dude yesterday said that the conservative waved their flag and they waged war on America. Well, if you look at the Mexicans here in this country, they waving their flag all through here, and they tried to they invaded this place more than once. In the 30s, they had to send back millions of them because they can't. They have a hard on, man, for taking this country. Okay, they have a hard on for that.
How we get to the Mexicans? Can we talk about this young man?
Because yesterday, I was just talking about yesterday. The brother made a statement, man, and he wanted me to call in, remember?
Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Winky. I do. Oh, okay. Thanks, Winky. I appreciate you. Man, Winky, you was on. He was on it. He was good, and then hit us with the immigrants, the Mexicans. Can I be honest real quick, Zach? I ain't gonna. I should. Okay. All right. 833-212-1017. I see your calls. I see your texts. We'll get to them on the other side. This is Truth to Power. Kyle Walsh on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Finding stable housing shouldn't be a struggle. The Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center connects renters, property owners, and partners to the resources they need, whether it's rental assistance, legal aid, mediation, or tenant education. No matter what your situation is, you do not have to go at it alone. Get assistance today by visiting renthelpmke.org. That is renthelpmke.org, or stop by their office at 728 North James Lovell Street in Milwaukee. At the Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center, they are here for all your housing needs.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks, and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Prostate cancer screening is a simple blood test. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. Your family history of prostate cancer increases the risk for all the men in your family. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. Prostate cancer is most treatable when it's detected early. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. Men, it's your life. That's why it's so important to talk to your doctor about getting tested. If you want info on how to take action, the Prostate Cancer Foundation is here to help. For more than 30 years, PCF, a leader in scientific breakthroughs, has funded cutting-edge research that speeds new treatments into clinics, helping patients live longer with fewer complications. Go to pcf.org to learn more about prostate cancer and how you can advocate for yourself. Remember, it's your life, and it's a simple blood test. Get it done.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Sneim. The Milwaukee Brewers winning their third straight game last night. This one over the Cincinnati Reds in game one of a four-game set. This one by a final score of 1-0.
1-1. Swing ground ball right side out of the reach of Encarnacion Strand, who made a dive, couldn't get it. It bounds into right, and Frelick delivers.
Brew Crew will get right back to work tonight with game two set for 7:10. Tyler Anderson getting the start for the Brew Crew. Lastly, we'll head over to the NBA. Behind 35 points and a career-high 20 assists from Giannis. The Milwaukee Bucks getting the win on the road in Philly, 126-113.
Giannis on the left wing. He's driving to the baseline, left-hand dunk by Giannis. And the Bucks lead 40-39. 18-0 run by Milwaukee.
Next up for the Bucks is Miami on Saturday night. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation, I'm telling you this right now. If your loved one is ever injured in an accident, don't mess around. Don't mess around whatsoever. Y'all know what to do. Make that one call, that's all, to Gruber Law Offices, and you know they will take care of you, whether it's big or small, because nothing is small to them. Everything matters. Don't go back and forth with the insurance companies. Don't try to do it on your own. Get the winning law firm with Gruber Law Offices that truly takes the burden off your shoulders. And y'all know I love the fact is this. is that once you make one call, that's all. You don't have to worry about paying anything else. You never pay a single penny until they win your case. So don't wait on it. Don't go back and forth with the insurance companies. Get with the winning team at Gruber Law Offices. I'm telling y'all, let them know the dread-headed brother Kyle sent y'all from 1017 The Truth, and they will take care of y'all. Call them today at 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666, or visit them at gruber-law.com. It's one call. That's all with Gruber Law Offices. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, the host of Truth to Power. We've been having a conversation here talking about the sad, tragic death that took place at a track meet down in Frisco, Texas, where a 17-year-old white kid was stabbed by a black kid at a track meet. There was a disagreement between the two. The young African-American boy was sitting in the seat of the white boy where their team was at. He asked him to move. He said no. He said, you need to move. He said no. He said, I'm going to make you move. He said, don't you touch me. He grabbed the kid's backpack. After he grabbed the kid's backpack, then the kid stabbed him in the heart, and he ended up sadly dying. And we're having a conversation about the outrage that we see coming from far-right conservatives, plus Jason Whitlock, who is a far-right conservative as well. But far-right conservatives talking about where's the outrage? Where are all the protests? Well, I say shut up, because he was arrested. You got justice. We protest because we don't get justice. We protest because district attorneys cover up videos of when joggers who are black get shot for simply going to look at a house that's being built, and white men try to bleed RoboCops. We get murdered by fake-ass neighborhood watch like George Zimmerman, who kills teenagers. We get 12-year-olds who have a fake toy gun that they bought at a store who get shot by police officers who are stupid, who can go on and get another job. We have to fight for justice. You got justice like that. That is the difference. That's what we're upset about. So do white lives matter? Yes, all lives matter, but the only thing is when it comes to black lives, we got to stand up, we got to march, we got to yell to the top of our lungs and throats in order for us to get some type of justice. We don't want to have to protest all the dang time. Stop killing us. Give us our justice. When we die, give us our justice instantly like you give everybody else. Because if you did, we would not have to do this. 833-212-1017. Miss Sandry on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Hi, Kyle. You're an angry man.
Oh, I need to. I'm
just teasing you.
Yeah, I'm not angry. I'm passionate. I'm passionate.
What Wiki said. That's what Wiki said. If you're angry, I'm angry.
Yo, Winky,
I'm a mother.
Winky took that from the playbook of the white man, basically. That's what they always say. We're angry black men.
Of course. And see, I'm a mother. And we're a black mother, and we birth our child just like white people birth their children. And we feel that when our kids are being killed, just out of the blue. I mean, like you said, you were given the incidents, and then this Pam Bundy, she got her old behind up there talking about kill that guy that killed the CEO.
Pam, you talking about Pam? You talking about Pam Bundy, the Attorney General of the United States?
Yeah, so give him the death penalty. He's got to go to trial first. Why is she opening her mouth? And especially when that father sat there and looked in the camera and choked George Floyd to death. Plus, he had 3 or 4 other guys on him, plus his hands were chained behind his back. Why don't she say Chauvin get the death penalty? See, that's why we're talking about equal justice. But so we have to look out for our kids. That's why we march. If they're upset over that boy getting stabbed, they march then. But I was looking at this documentary over the cities where blacks are not wanted. And it was saying it goes through all the depression that we've been through, the depression of our cities, and the money is not allowed into our states, even though we pay them over taxes like here. And it just goes through all of this stuff, and then they have the nerve to say we're not wanted. And so we have to go through so much. And one more thing I want to say.
Yes, ma'am.
I was in an incident. I was trying to go get a real ID. So my sister-in-law suggested, she said, well, why don't we go to West Bend? I don't go to West Bend because I don't have to. But she wanted to go up there to get it because she said the line is short. Well, she said the line was real short. They said you can walk in and walk out. So I said, okay, I went with her. So I went and got the real ID. And just as quick as I came out, this guy was blocking my car door. I couldn't get in my side of my car because he had his passenger side open, blocking it up. So I got out and I asked him, could he close it? And he says, He just had surgery in his belly. He couldn't close it. It was a white guy. He was with a white lady. So she was on the driver's side. So that's why I asked your lady. So you got to be thinking what I'm saying. You got to be thinking before you confront all of this evil, you know, because you don't want to do nothing like it's irrational, because we always seem like we always get the bottom of it. But anyways, I went over to her. So I asked her because she come close his door. And she threw her hand up at me. In other words, I just wait till she finished talking on the telephone. But anyways, I had my sister-in-law in the car with me. She went over there and slammed the door.
I would have.
So what I'm saying is, but I got mad at her because I tell her, I said, these people now, you see cameras and kids and guns and everybody toting. They might have said I felt threatened.
That's true.
Might have shot my sister-in-law.
That's true. That's very true. Thank you for sharing the story, Miss Sandra. That is a real story. Thank you for sharing. 833-212-10. That's the Truth Talk to text line. You can text, you can call. Also, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube. 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But the call, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation today?
Well, one thing with regard to Winky and me asking him to call about people carrying Confederate flags, which was from a country that attacked America. There is no such flag as a conservative flag, so he didn't do his homework, and I hope he spends the weekend researching what the Confederacy was.
Man, y'all be beefing.
500.
Y'all be beefing on my show.
Yes, well, I'm actually trying to educate the uninformed, because a lot of these people of that 8% who supported this regime, this Nazi regime that we're resisting, and Susan Crawford, congratulations to her. Winning was a good step toward resisting it. But what I wanted to say about this particular case is what you're describing, Kyle, is a false equivalency, where they, who have never had to deal with their family members being hung, when the side that they vote the most for wins an election, other people decide they're going to overturn it. They go to jail, and then they get pardoned while carrying a flag of a nation that attacked America. And a good example of this is a movie called The Good Shepherd, where you have Joe Pesci, Matt Damon, and Robert De Niro. And it speaks about this type of racism where they think when they say American, they mean racist and white. And so I don't want to confuse which are Confederates who are secessionists who don't believe in America first like they claim. They believe in America when they can use America's tax dollars, because most of those states that were Confederate are the states that depend on the federal government the most, but yell small government when it comes to them treating other groups of people fairly. And that's really what you're talking about in this case. As long as something is happening to somebody else, it's okay. And for Winky to say he supports what's right, there's nothing more wrong and less Christ-like than to treat your fellow man the way that Confederates have treated everybody else, and the way that they continue to try to welcome Europeans and South Africans to this country, then try to tell people, white South Africans, yes, to this country, Afrikaners like Elon Musk, to this country to just do damage and decimate things like Social Security, raise insulin prices that Joe Biden lowered to $35 back into the hundreds for our elders and our handicapped. And for Winky to say he's for what's right, but yells for that organization is a damn lie. And for him to call Al the lower caller, I would have to reframe his nickname as the lowest caller until he repents, just like these Confederates.
Oh wow, this is crazy. I see why Sherwin put callers on the line together. I see. I get caught in the crossfire. My goodness. But everybody's preaching today. I appreciate that conversation. We got one more caller here, 833-212-1017. Y'all can for sure still text in, because DJ Brother Z don't play. You call in now, it's a wrap. The show's over. According to DJ Brother Z. So it's a wrap for that one. But Ms. Lana Banana, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing blessed. How about yourself?
Good. First of all, there's a difference between having passion for something and being mad and upset. See, Winky Blue misread your feelings because he don't know what it is to have passion for being black. And he lied, because you asked him if he was a conservative. He lied and said no, he voted for the right. And he did vote for the right. The right is conservative. So he lied right there. You ain't sick, Winky Blue. And see, the thing is that, you know, what did you say about when that white dude killed the man in New York that was at the subway, didn't harm anybody, had his back to him, and he choked him and killed him?
They sure did on the subway. And he matter of fact, I believe he had I don't know if J.D. Vance or he had somebody, political figures out there defending him, right? We saw a black man was murdered who had mental health issues, right?
I mean, yes, yeah, and you know, all we know, they probably bullied the black boy, the black young man, but I wouldn't have moved either. You don't own this seat. Make me move now. I wouldn't have killed him, but I let him know you ain't gonna have this seat. You gonna fight for this.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Ms. Lana Banana. I appreciate your thoughts today. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody calling in. On the other side, we'll wrap up this conversation as we talked about a tragedy that happened down in Frisco, Texas, where a 17-year-old white student was killed by a black student at a track meet over a confrontation over a seat. It is a complete tragedy. But the outrage that we see from the far-right conservatives, I take issue with. We'll wrap up the show on the other side. I'll read some of y'all YouTube comments. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship because that for them is freedom.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Maya is always on the move, and so is her money. Buy this here, deposit that there. She and her money are a lot to keep track of. Good thing Maya banks with Landmark Credit Union and uses their amazing mobile app. Maya checks her balance, deposits checks, pays bills, even transfers money between friends. So while Maya is coming and going, she can see her funds coming, going, and, best of all, growing. Landmark Credit Union. Banking made easy. Insured by NCUA.
I know that 1 in 10 veterans struggle daily with mental health issues. Suicide is a real risk. If you or someone you love is struggling today, you are not alone. Support is at reachoutwis.org to find local resources available for you and your loved ones. Reach out today.
Paid for by Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment with support by the Medical College of Wisconsin, the War Memorial Center, and reachoutwis.org.
At Gruber's offices, we've helped tens of thousands of families after a serious accident. Our priority has always been our clients. We're here for you whenever you may need us. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
1, 2, 3, ho!
It is the award-winning 1017 The Truth. This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth. And we had I think a great discussion, a great conversation on just looking at not even race relations, but just how people react to certain things. And so, again, this is a sad story. This is an extremely sad story where Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old boy in Texas at a track meet, just doing what kids do, got into a confrontation with a 17-year-old black student named Karmelo Anthony. They had a confrontation. They had a back and forth. They threatened each other. He grabbed him, or he grabbed his backpack, and Karmelo stabbed him, and he died. It is sad, and it's a tragedy. It is an absolute tragedy. And the story of these two young men is bad, but the fake outrage from the far-right conservatives is absolutely despicable to me, because you are utilizing a tragic situation where a family lost a loved one to push forward your hateful, your anti-civil rights, your anti-diversity, and your anti-black agenda. We should be outraged whenever anybody is killed. Hispanic, black, Native American, Asian, white, anybody of any color, any creed, any nationality. We should be upset and outraged anytime anybody loses their life. We shouldn't utilize something to try to point the finger and say, oh, you guys would be marching for black people. Yeah, because black people don't get justice. And when we do get justice, we have to march for it. We have to fight for it. We got to find hidden camera film to be able to get that justice, because they don't take our word for it. We lose teenage 16-year-old boys. We lose 12-year-old boys to police brutality. We just lose life for nonsense here. So, yes, we get outraged and upset about that. But Truth Nation, I appreciate y'all listening today. This has been Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. The Tory Lowe Show is up next. Peace out. I'll see y'all next week. Y'all be safe.
Hey, Truth fam. This is your girl, Melanie Ricks, and I want to remind you to tune into Nothing But the Truth digital show with me, Melanie Ricks, presented by Visit Milwaukee. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., a new episode